Hi, good morning. I'm Afia Yana, and welcome to your Rise and Shine yoga practice. Today's practice is focused on yoga for the whole body. So this is just a quick hit it and quit it practice to get you energized in your body. So if I have a day where I don't necessarily have time to do a fuller yoga routine, I always like to make sure that I do something for my full body. So that's what today's practice is. Basically going through, warming up, and engaging all of the muscle groups. Full body engagement. Okay, so we begin with the shoulders, opening up the shoulder girdle, rotating the shoulders up and down and back. You could start this in a chair if it is more comfortable and more appropriate for your body, if you're dealing with any injuries. You could also, if you feel like you need more, you could start this from a deeper horse stance where you can really right away get into the hips. We're rotating the shoulders up and down and back. Palms facing forward, beginning to engage the breath, engage the belly. Stoking that internal fire with the breath. And then switching directions, rotating the shoulders up and forward, as if you're offering forward the juiciness of your day, offering forward some enthusiasm into your waking up process. Then arms out to the side, or bring the arms forward and then far apart, bringing them together. Elbows, 90-degree angle, exhaling forward, arms spread wide apart. And if you are feeling like you'd like to come into this wide-legged horse stance, the toes are pointing towards the corner of your mat, the hips, feet hip wider than hip width distance apart, and continuing with this motion. We'll take 5 more here. Opening, breathing into the front of the chest, squeezing the scapula together at the extension of the exhale on the backside. Using the breath to pry open the body. And then coming back up to standing, we can place the arms straight out and facing down. And then rotating the shoulders out to the side. So as if you're opening up a door. Inhaling the shoulders back and out to the side. It's a very subtle movement for the shoulders. But before we get into some other things on the floor that require a larger range of motion for the rotator cuffs, just thinking about bringing the arms apart, out to the side. You can see here, the hands engaging, shoulder blades pull back, exhaling, inhaling the hands forward and almost together, exhaling apart, inhaling back together, exhaling wide apart, turning the thumbs out, inhale, the back of the hands come together, flipping the thumbs out towards the back side of the body, rotating, engaging, the back of the hands come to touch. So a full 360 rotation of the arms of the rotator cuff here. And 3 more. Inhaling the back of the hands together, exhaling wide apart, inhaling together, so the pinkies touch, and then exhaling apart. Nice and strong through the core. We'll do the same motion with the hands again at this 90-degree angle. Bringing the hands together and then bringing them wide and apart. Breathing into the front of the chest. Really flipping out as if you have something on a platter here. Strong and engaged through the belly. Bringing in that ujjayi breath, that victory breath. Gently snoring in through the nose, and on the exhale, compressing the breath in the back of the throat. Nice and tall through the spine, grounded into the feet. Beautiful. And one more time here. Offering out, and then back together. Beautiful. Hands on the shoulders, and coming back to this horse stance if that's comfortable for you. Opening, elbows touching in the front, almost touching behind the body. Inhale, open. Exhale, squeezing the breath out. Grounding through the feet here. All four corners of the feet. If you're standing in this horse stance, or even if you're sitting in the floor, making sure that you're engaging through the base of the spine. So here, if you're in horse stance, the feet are the extension of the base of the body. So grounding into the heels here in the horse stance. Pulling up on the center of the belly. Engaging those core muscles. On the inhale, expanding through the arms, using that extension in the side of the ribs. And on the exhale, squeezing the breath out and switching directions. Inhaling, opening. Exhale together. Inhale, open. If you're in the horse stance, I'm sure you're starting to feel something here. Stay engaged. Use this fire of the breath. This is a quick hit it and put it practice. We're only going to be here for about 15 minutes, so make the most of it. Exhaling together, inhaling apart, and one more here. Nice full rotation as you're holding on to the shoulders. Beautiful. Straightening the legs, inhaling the arms up. Beautiful. You can bring the legs back together. If you're sitting in a chair, you can grab a hold of both of your shoulders. Here you could do right arm over left, whichever one you'd like to begin with. And we're just going to take some circles. So exhaling forward, rotating as if you're a gyroscope, just beginning with a very small circle here, engaging through the core. Really squeezing the shoulders, bringing the elbows away from squeezing into the side of the body, the shoulders away from the ears. Exhaling back. Making sure you're really grounding into the feet if you're standing up. And as you begin to widen that circle, using the breath to draw you around. You can look down towards your feet and extending the vision up towards the sky. Making sure you're not compressing in the back of the neck here, but using the circular motion to sweep you around 360, the spinal column. Beautiful. Releasing the shoulders, letting them go, giving them a shake out. And then switching opposite hand on top. So this time, the left hand might go on top, right on the bottom. And then switching the opposite direction for your roll here. So remembering, taking note of what the body did to begin with. This time, starting off really small. Looking down towards the floor, inhaling up. towards the ceiling. On the exhale, compressing the breath out of the belly. Inhale, drawing the shoulders back, chin up towards the sky. And by bringing the feet together here, you're really engaging more through the core. So if you're feeling like you need more stability, you can bring the legs apart. But I invite you to really make one leg of bringing both feet together, and it helps you engage more through the core here. You'll become more familiar with those transverse abdominal muscles, even down in through how the psoas and different muscles move down and engage and ground us into the feet here. Widening the circle if you haven't already. This begins to feel really good in the lower back as well. Making sure you squeeze those shoulders here. So you're getting a simultaneous stretch through the back of the heart while engaging through the core. And opening up that lower back. Fantastic. Beautiful. We'll come back out to this horse stance here. If you're in your chair, you can do this as well. Just placing the legs out towards the sides of your chair. And bringing both hands onto the thigh. Bring the right shoulder forward. Pressing into the inner thigh. Ooh, this feels so good. Opening up the lower back. Grounding through the feet here. Inhaling back to center. Switching the position of the right palm comes out towards the back side of the right thigh. The left heel of the hand moves into the inside of the left thigh. Pressing the left thigh apart here. And grounding in through the right hamstrings. Lifting over that right shoulder as the left shoulder comes forward here. And then coming back to neutral. And try it a few times at your own pace. Bring the right shoulder forward. Dynamic movement, exhaling to center. Switching, looking over the right shoulder. Exhale back to center. Switching the right shoulder forward. Dynamic, neutral center. And perhaps with every time that you come back through the center, you can bring that opposite shoulder down a little bit further forward and even more parallel towards the ground. Maybe here you'll even switch into experimenting with exhaling forward. You compress the internal organs and abdominals, inhaling up. Exhaling the left shoulder forward. Inhaling back up. Stay with me, 2 more. Exhale, inhale back up. Exhale. Beautiful. And 1 more. Nice and strong. Ground into those heels. Exhale, inhale back up. Ooh, feeling that burn in the inner thighs here. Inhale back up, coming to neutral, inhaling the arms up, the legs straight. Exhaling the hands back to heart center. Bending the knees. Inhale, gather. Raising heaven up towards earth. Grounding the earth back down. Inhaling. Rising up. And then switching direction, inhale up. Gather the head, and this time bringing it back down towards earth. Inhale, extending the legs, extending the arms. Exhale to the fullest extension, hands back to center. Inhale, gather up. Release anything that's not serving you. Exhale, coming back to your heart center. Beautiful. We're going to move on to the ground into a cat-cow position here. So onto tabletops, all fours. Just warming up the spine here. Knees hip width distance apart. Inhaling the chin up towards the sky. Breathing into the front of the chest, pressing the tops of the feet into the ground. Exhale, tucking the tailbone back, looking under to the belly button. Breathing into the back of the neck. This feels so great here. Inhaling, chin and chest up towards the sky. Exhale, tucking the tailbone under. Even if you're sitting in your chair, you can still be doing this from the sitting position, just switching the way that you move the tailbone forward and back. Exhaling, belly button back towards spine. Pressing into the floor. Inhaling the chin up. Breathing into the front of the belly, expanding into the rib cage. Exhale, tucking the tailbone under. Looking back at the belly button. This time, walking the toes under here. Pressing into all four corners of the hands. Pressing into the big toe, pressing into the little toe. And then we're gently going to lift the knees about an inch or two up off of the ground here. Breathing into the back of the heart. Belly button lifts towards spine. We're going to take 3 breaths here, engaging the core, getting that digestive fire moving, grooving with each breath, inhaling. Belly button towards spine. Exhale, pressing into the hands, lifting the knees up off the ground. You might get a little bit of a shake here. That's great. You're doing fantastic. 3 more breaths here, inhaling. Knees up off of the ground, pressing into the toes, equal weight in the hands. 1 more breath here, inhaling. Breathing up into the back side of your heart. Exhale, shaking. You're doing great. Maybe even thinking about lifting up the kneecaps another inch up off of the ground. Inhale into the back body. Exhaling the knees back down. Tops of the feet come into the ground. Beautiful here. Inviting you to move the left knee into the center of your mat, crisscrossing the right knee behind you here, and gently shifting weight back in the hips into a modified child's pose. So it's kind of like a double doozy. We get to get a nice stretch in the hips and the hip flexor while pushing the weight back on the forearm. Whatever feels good for you here in this modified crisscross child's pose. Beautiful. Inhaling, bring the knees back to parallel. The right knee comes up into the air, pressing both hands, exhaling, knee to nose. Inhale, pressing back into that right heel, extending flat into tabletop. Exhale, moving back into this cat position, knee to nose. Really slowly pressing through the foot, pressing into the hands, equa. Weight, exhaling, knee to nose. And one more time, pressing into that heel, extending the right heel back. Nice and long through the neck, pulling up on the front of the thigh. And then on the exhale, knee comes to nose. Beautiful. This time moving the right knee into the center of the mat, crisscrossing the left leg behind you, left knee behind you. And then you might widen the knees a little bit here and shift the weight back. You could stay up on the forearms. You could come down onto the elbows and getting in this opposite hip stretch here. I'm really feeling it through all the way from the left shin, running down the side of the left hamstring into the left glute here. But depending on what's going on in your body, you might feel it in a slightly different place. You might feel it more in the lower back. Most importantly, keep breathing, keeping the breath active and moving through the body. Beautiful. See if you can even shift the weight back a little bit further. Bringing the glutes back towards the back of your mat. Beautiful. Coming back up to tabletop, neutral, uncrisscrossing the legs. Knees coming back to parallel. The left leg pushes out behind you. Flat leg. Top of the right foot presses into the ground. And then on the exhale, left knee to left nose. Left nostril. Inhale, pressing back. Nice and strong, engaging the core. Pressing into the hands. Inhale, knee to nose. Lifting up high into the belly. Pressing through that back heel. Extending out the heel. Make sure you're not shifting over weight into the right hip. And then exhaling. Knee to nose. Breathing into the back of the heart here. Expanding, exhaling back. Using the belly button to engage the nose towards the knee. And one more time. Exhaling back. Knee to nose. Exhale, release that down. And coming forward into a Sphinx pose. So the elbows underneath the shoulders, palms of the hand pressed into the ground, feet hip width distance apart, rotating the shoulders up and down and back. Breathing into your proud chest and then looking over the right shoulder gently, back towards the right heel. Exhaling back to center. Looking over the left shoulder, back towards the left heel. Getting this stretch in the side of the neck. Really trying to move through quickly all the muscle groups of the body. Looking back, right ear over right shoulder. Pressing equally into the tops of the feet and the elbows. Nice and engaged through the core here. Back to center. Inhaling left ear, left shoulder. Exhaling back to center. And one more time. Feeling the abs as they engage into the floor. The biofeedback of the belly. As it expands into the breath. And then exhale, left ear, left shoulder. Looking back at left toe. Beautiful. Then rolling over onto your back. Both feet come up into the air here. Engaging the belly button back towards the spine. You could lift the hands so that they are out and supporting the back of the neck. Lifting the shoulders up off of the floor here. Another inch. So the back of the neck comes up off of the floor. Elbows nice and wide here. If you're doing this properly, you might even begin to get a little bit of a shake here. With every exhalation as the belly button pulls back towards the spine. And then exhaling the right leg down to a 45-degree angle. Inhaling the right leg up, the left leg comes down, 45-degree angle. Switching, right leg comes back up. And then switch. Extending through the heels. Lifting that lower back. Pressing the lower back into the ground, lifting the upper back up off of the ground. Keeping the shoulders wide, the elbows very wide, pressing into the back of the head, presses into the back of the hand. Exhaling the leg down. Inhale, switch. Exhale, down. Inhale, switch. Exhale, down. Inhale, switch. 4 more on each side. Exhale, down. Inhale, switch. See if you can engage that belly button. Pressing the lower back into the floor. Inhale, switch. Exhale, down. Inhale, switch. 2 more. Inhale, switch. Really wide through the shoulders. Inhale, switch. Exhale, down. Inhale, switch. Exhale, down. Inhale, switch. Bringing both legs down at a 45-degree angle, lifting the belly button back towards the spine. Elbows up off of the floor. Breathing here for 3 breaths. Inhale. You got this. You might lower even the legs down a little bit further. You got this. To 10 inches off the floor. And exhale. Releasing the lower belly. The back. Everything onto the floor. Feels so good. And just a quick crisscross the right leg, figure four-ing over the top of the left thigh, grabbing hold of the back of the left thigh or shin, whatever's available for you. And you might even rotate back, shift in the hips, weight from the right hip to the left. Releasing the breath. Releasing any tension that built up as we hit the horse stance pretty hard in the beginning. Releasing any tension in the pelvis. Breathing deep into the belly here. Squeezing the knees towards the chest. Beautiful. And then switch. Left leg comes over the right, grabbing behind the right thigh. And shifting that weight from one hip to another. Just finding the easiest way to begin to release the lower back, release any tension built up in the legs. Release the hips here as we massage the lower back into the floor. Beautiful, squeezing the knees towards the chest. Getting a nice stretch in the back of the hamstrings here. Beautiful. And then coming up to sitting. Hands in front of the heart. Closing the eyes here. Seeing how quickly can you release and let go any tension in the lower body and the pelvis. The hands pressed together in front of the heart, inviting that breath to come back to its normal, perhaps deeper, slower tempo. Taking one more deep breath here, inviting in all the goodness that you have for your day. If you have a particular task at hand, perhaps seeing, envisioning the ease and grace in which you successfully put in your beautiful, heartfelt efforts, and drawing the chin down towards the chest, breathing into the back of the neck here. Breathing into your proud chest. Sending a little I love you to yourself. Namaste and Ashe.